Oh,
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. This is the first team briefing of the new year. Happy New Year to all of you. I'm hoping that you're having a great build season. I know that my team's been awfully busy. I'm feeling actually pretty good about our progress. We got a robot base and some good prototyping working. So, yay. Of course, it'll all probably fall to crap next week, but that's okay. It's FRC build season. So on the line with us tonight are Adrian Rimey, our beloved person who organizes everything. Debbie Kerr, she's from Oregon, from ORTOP, and Aaron McCallum. And also with us is Ron Falcone. He's with First Headquarters, and is going to answer or give us an update and answer questions that we might have about Houston. And then we have Beth Shermer, Carrie Porton, and Vicky Falzerano. How'd I do, Vicky? Was that close? Falzerano. Yeah. So they're all here to talk to us about the travel to Houston, and we'll be getting that in a little bit later. But we have a few things we want to go through first. So as always, everybody is muted, and if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or type something into the question box, and we will get around to you when we can. All right. So here's our here's the agenda for tonight's meeting, and I won't read the whole thing. You can actually read it yourself, but we'll go ahead and get started here. We really want to welcome our rookie teams. I'm hoping that many of them are on the line tonight. We have
Kevin?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm not seeing your screen.
You're not?
No,
Oh.
I'm seeing you. I'm seeing your smiling face, but not your screen.
Oh, okay. Then let me go to show screen. Wait.
There we go.
What screen?
Perfect. Now we can see your PowerPoint.
But I wanted you to see that screen. That's a better screen. How many times have I done this? How did I mess that up? Oh well. I was just telling the other organizers I haven't screwed up yet today, but woo, managed to screw that one up. All right. So there's our list for our agenda tonight. And again, we have 7 rookie teams. Congratulations to all of you. We're hoping that you're having a great time. We all have been there and done that. So if you are looking for help, be sure that you're reaching out to the teams in your area. They would love to be able to help you out. And as always, it is a badge of honor in FIRST to help another team, especially a rookie team. So take advantage of that if you need it. So the next couple of slides, Aaron McCallum, who's the president of FIRST Washington, wanted to talk about a few opportunities. A lot of this is actually aimed at Washington teams, but I believe the Oregon teams can actually participate in some of this. So, Aaron?
Great. So hi, everyone. Just a reminder, these are our wonderful and very generous donors and sponsors for FIRST Robotics competition teams. As you all know, we work really hard on your behalf to raise funds for your team, not only to compete in the 2018 and 19 FRC season, but also for your team sustainability. Kevin, if you want to hit the next slide. The next slide also has some more generous companies and community foundations that have helped. Many of you veterans know how wonderful it is to recognize these donors and sponsors on your robot, on your team materials website, and I would encourage you to please do so. Looking for official corporate logos, please contact myself, Erin at firstwa.org, and we will get the official logos. Oftentimes you are better off to just download directly from their corporate website. Each of you, if you are not certain which company or donor do I recognize, that was noted on your invoice that you received in early December 2017. If you need a reminder, send us a note, and we're happy to remind you who were the generous sponsors. So next slide, Kevin. Want to talk for a minute, and this is specific to I would say to Washington State, but Oregon teams, I think you can glean some of these wonderful opportunities as well, because both Washington and Oregon teams receive funds through our respective state legislators and legislatures, so thank you. In Washington State, many of our public school-based teams, OSPI, which is the State Department of Education, is your team's largest donor. So this year we did not officially do a first day in Olympia, which is typically held on the Martin Luther King Day, and that was deliberate for a number of strategic reasons that actually will work to our benefit. But how teams can help, and I would really encourage Oregon teams and our Alaska team to do the same thing. This is all about relationships, as we all know, and I would encourage each of our teams to send a team photo, a team t-shirt, a team uniform to your state lawmakers, thanking them for their support. But what the goal is, we want to build each state legislators their loyalty for their team, right? Just like each of these as individuals have your favorite, basketball team or baseball team or football team. This is about building their favorite first team to build some loyalty and advocacy. And then I know we're in the heat of the build season, but encourage your state lawmakers along with your school board members, your city council members, your county commissioners, come and invite them to your build season. It doesn't have to be fancy. It can be, early Saturday morning, late on a Thursday evening, whatever works for you. They would love to be brought into the fold. And last but not least, tag them on social media. Tag First Washington. Our friends in Oregon absolutely tag ORTOP. It's all about building that continuity and that collaboration. And then last slide, Kevin. The other 2 points I want to mention is fundraising opportunities for teams. This is for all teams across the Pacific Northwest District. In the fall, we introduced a very cool and fun opportunity. We call it Robots on Parade. This is a great way to involve your students on your team that are on business outreach and team sustainability. But we would encourage teams to go and identify a local business. This is not an opportunity necessarily for the large companies, but for the local small to medium-sized businesses, and get them to sponsor your robot, and then your robot will be on display in their place of business after the competition season. And then the other opportunity is the upcoming Change the World event, which is in Spokane and in Bellevue. Our keynote speaker is Mesner Pavlon, who is the lead character on the IMAX theme Dream Big. Huge opportunity for teams to organize tables with all of the dollars raised by your table going back to support your team in your team's booster account. So I think that's about all I have, Kevin. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Erin. I appreciate that. Just a reminder to everybody, these slides I'll show you where to download these slides if you wanted to take notes on this stuff. All right, so status of our district. We currently have 154 teams this year. That means we're going to do 9 district events. If you were not aware of it, our district championship this year is in Portland, Oregon, April 4th through the 7th. And so that ought to be a great event as always. This year we're sending 32 teams to Houston. So, and a large part of the rest of this presentation is going to deal with getting to Houston. So stay tuned for that. And if First has asked us once again if we can stump to get some of our volunteers down to Houston to help run the show. We had an enormous contingent last year, big feather in our cap. We had a great representation. Our John Grimm, one of our FTAs, and was the Einstein FTA, and we had a whole bunch of key people down there. Hotwire 2990 kind of blew away the Texas-based FTAs by going down and setting up a whole bunch of fields in a hurry. So our district, we have a great deal of experience, and so we'd like to share that wealth. So if anybody on your team would like to go down and volunteer, we'd appreciate it. Okay. Here is the event calendar. I know all of you have already signed up, but I just wanted to, some of us only remember the dates that our team is going. We would like to encourage you to take a look at the rest of these dates and see where there are opportunities for your students and for your team members to get involved as volunteers. Specifically, like events like the Sun Dome is going to be new for us. That'll be over in Yakima, and we're going to need to import a substantial number of volunteers to help run that event. As with all of the other events, we're always looking for volunteers. This is a great way for your team to stand out in Chairman's Award, so keep that in mind. Okay. I do have one pro tip, especially for those of you who are new to the First World. There is this system called STIMS. It is where you are supposed to get your students and their parents to register on the First website. It is unfortunately still confusing to use, and quite honestly, only 2 of my parents out of FTC managed to do it this year to get all the way through. And it is required, so please don't wait till the last minute. You will make yourself incredibly unhappy. I would highly recommend dedicating somebody to pursue this STIMS and the team roster now. Some of your parents are going to take a lot of hand-holding to get through the STIMS process. If it's any consolation, I have a meeting with President Don Bosey and Mike Anderson, the head of IT, and we're going to be talking about this in less than a month. So that's one of the topics that we'll bring up. So we will try and get this fixed. As an alternative, remember that everybody is required to be on your team roster, even if you write them on, and there are paper versions of the consent form available. It really isn't called STIMS so much anymore, but it's in your dashboard under the team roster. You can find a printable paper version of the consent form. If you do the paper version of it, you have to bring a signed one to each and every event that you go to. So keep that in mind. All right. Volunteer opportunities for FRC teams. The judges are very, very keen at recognizing teams who give back to the First community. And it's actually how our entire organization works. There's a few staff people in Kent, but the reality is that we are almost all, I'm a volunteer, we are almost all volunteers. And so your team should be part of that. And so we have a bunch of opportunities for you to not only participate in FRC, but also in FLL and FTC. And actually this weekend, if you've got people available, we have first LEGO League events running in Seattle, Olympia, and Des Moines. Saturday at Amazon, we need some students to help out as volunteers doing a variety of different roles. And that's at the Amazon.com building in downtown Seattle. It's really a cool place, so your kids would probably jump at the chance to do this. We also need help in Olympia at the FLL semifinal is what this is, and also Des Moines. It's going to be at Mount Rainier High School in Des Moines on Saturday. So we need adult judges I know we need adult judges in Olympia, and something tells me I was supposed to say adult judges in Des Moines. Is that right, Adrian? Do you remember?
That is correct, Kevin. We need adult judges in both places, and probably students there as well.
Yep. So the way judging works, especially if your team is trying to get to a point where they can have a better shot at doing Chairman's Award. I cannot remember the last Chairman's Award winning team that did not participate and volunteer at FLL and FTC events. So this is, if your team is interested in chairmans and is working hard on chairmans, this is an important part of that. So please do that. So we have another opportunity in Kent on February 11th. It's on a Sunday. We need students and adults to help us with the FLL FTC State Championship. If you're on the east side of the state, or if you'd like to travel, and I apologize, I just realized I didn't put the dates on here. During week 2 of the FRC season, the FTC West Super Regional will be at the Spokane Convention Center. We need people on the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, and we need help with setup. We need help with queuing. We need help with audiovisual stuff. So if you're over on that side looking for volunteer opportunities, that's a good one for you. It ought to be a lot of fun. And if you're in Oregon, of course, through the end of February, in fact, starting this weekend through the end of February, there are First Tech Challenge qualifying tournaments. And I believe they are also looking for volunteers. So, and I was going to show you, actually, on the next slide, this is where you can go volunteer. I'm going to attempt to click on this. And, oh, hey, it didn't crash this time. Very cool. So it's really straightforward. If you go there, you can register to volunteer. And I'm already logged in, but normally you would have to create an account for that. Go over here to volunteer registration, event volunteering. And there are a couple of funky things about the event volunteering, but that's okay. You can use these filters to turn events on and off. Here's Oregon, for example. I was looking up Oregon to see what they had going. And there's a lot of stuff happening in Oregon. It's all of these events are looking for volunteers. You can see the dates are starting this weekend and they go all the way through the end of February. And actually our FRC events are in here as well, the district FRC events. So anyway, it's not bad and it's a lot of fun, and we very, very much appreciate that. So we would need everybody that wants to volunteer to sign up on firstinspires.org. Thank you for that. Okay, now we're going to actually have some input from our friends that are from Experience. And I actually didn't work out who was going to do the talking, so I'm going to rely on one of you guys to speak up.
All right, both Beth and I will actually do it. Do you have a slide for
yes,
one of our?
Actually, what I did is I took, I did something cool, which was I have already uploaded your documents. Before we do that, I forgot my one slide. So teams, where to find stuff on our website, including this webinar, is if you go to the First Washington website and under Team Resources, under Team Resources FRC, you'll find a whole list of things. You kind of need a big screen to do this. Right here is where you'll find event information for all of the FRC events. And we haven't populated this yet, but we wanted you to know that that all of the public agendas and directions and event-specific materials will be available there. The other thing that you will find are the workshops and webinars page. If you click on that, you can find links to all of our previous communications. And the important thing for us is there is a link to the previous webinar that was done about Houston travel. And the current documents are all right here, including the slides that you're looking at. And this document, which they sent me earlier, and I think that is my jump off point to hand it over to, was that Vicki that was going to talk?
Carrie and Beth at Experience.
Oh, outstanding.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and take it away. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Sure.
I know most of you have already heard a little bit about the Stay with First pilot program on our last webinar, but this time we actually created a little bit more specific Q&A document based off of the questions that we fielded on the last webinar. And basically it walks you through the entire process. It gives you a little bit introduction to the pilot program as well and why all teams should adhere to it, because it does guarantee you a block once you qualify at district championship. Again, thank you for uploading those documents, because I won't waste your time by going through each and every single one and asking you the questions and providing you with the answers. So this way you have a document. Whenever you have a question, go ahead and reference the document. And if at any given time there isn't a question or answer that actually addresses something that you have concern with, please let us know, and we can make this a working document and actually update it as we move through the program as well. Beth, did you have anything from the document that you wanted to highlight?
I just wanted to note towards the end of the document, we do give you contact information in case you didn't get it from the website where you can go to. It's on the bottom of the second page there. Michelle, who you guys have worked with in the past, is working with you again this season, and she can be reached at the First Teams Houston at experience-inc.com. So any questions that you have, we also have her phone number there if you want to give her a call. That way you don't have to work with our general customer service team. You have a direct point of contact. And I know that we've been getting a lot of questions already. And in our first webinar that we did, we were talking about gathering your requirements for your hotels and asking you questions on what is important to you and your team when coming to Houston. So together with Vicki at First, we put together a set of 9 hotels that we're offering out to the teams. So I know that was one of the big points that was asked about last webinar. There's a map of all of the city there that Kevin's showing now. And we do have hotels clustered in downtown, in the Galleria area, and also in the medical plaza. This screen that Kevin's showing now is from our gradual engagement link. That link is available on the First Inspire site. It can also, actually, I think that is the only place it's on. And we do have a drop down specifically for the Pacific Northwest team, so you can see what we've held out. You can click on those hotels on the image and get a description of the hotel. The little plus sign there in the icons below will give you some of the contracted concessions that we have, the breakfast, if there's parking included, if there's Wi-Fi included, if they have bus service as well. You can also just see how far it is from the convention center and so on and so forth. So that's a new feature that we provided this year to help with your location, since, you know, Houston, it's only the second time we've been there. So we want to make sure everybody's familiar with where they're staying and the amenities offered at the hotels. Vicki and I put together a lot of planning to pick these hotels based off of the surveys that you guys had given us. Another one of the documents that we put together based off of the conversation we had in the first webinar was the Excel document, Kevin, that we provided. This one is going to help you, especially a lot of the rookie teams where this is your first time coming to championship. We put together a nice Excel document where you can put your data in, and we can give you a suggestion of how many rooms we think you should hold. This is one of the documents that we think is going to be instrumental, especially to new teams. When you put in, the first question we ask is how many students are going to championships. Once you populate a number in there, the next 3 cells will auto-populate with what we recommend, depending on how many students are in a room. And then based off of that recommendation, we ask you to put a number in that cell off to the far right-hand side, because that will tabulate down. And then they ask you about how many mentors are going, and how many, if you're putting a mentor in its room by himself or herself, or if you're pairing them up. And then if there's anybody else, parents, bus drivers, things like that, that you need to recommend, or you need to have a reservation for. And then at the bottom, it will give you that total number of rooms that we suggest you hold. So this will help you in the pre-planning process. You guys have a lot on your plate right now with build season and making sure that your students are ready for competition. So this is something that we've put together to help you go through this process. We know that you guys aren't travel planners. We know that this is just an extra tool that we can give you in your toolbox to help the season go by smoothly. If you have additional questions, this is something that Michelle can help you with as well. If you have questions on, what do you think we should hold, and questions about hotels that you might not be able to get from the internet or from our descriptions.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. And again, all of these documents are under Team Resources, FRC Competition Team Resources. And if you go down to Workshops and Webinars, you can just click on that page, and that will bring up, that's a history of all of the webinars we've ever done. And on the, I don't know why it's gave me 20, I will fix the, I don't know what that number came from, but anyway, it will be the 1/16/2018. Here's the spreadsheet. There's the PDF that we saw. And of course, this picture, this was just a JPEG that they sent me. It's a live shot off of the first website. So now, remember, this is only for travel to Houston. And so travel to our local events is still done the old-fashioned way. And let me reiterate why we're doing this is, FIRST has been listening, and when I was back in New Hampshire, I met with Ron Falcone, who is he's the sort of director of purchasing and heads up the purchasing department at FIRST, and they were very eager to try to improve the experience that our teams were having. And since we're the Pacific Northwest and we're pretty well organized, they asked us to do this pilot program. We realized, and everybody should keep in mind, that this is a pilot program. I think it's actually fairly well laid out, and I think it's been very well documented, but they are gathering feedback and experience doing this with us in order to help out everybody when they have to travel to the World Championships. So it's sort of a feather in our cap to be able to help out with this, and we thank everybody for participating, and we beg your indulgences if things don't work out. But I've been assured by Ron and by experience that they will make sure that everything actually is right by the time you get to Houston. So if you are having any little glitches or things like that, we have our own personal direct concierge and that person that you can call. I think it was Michelle. And
correct.
Yeah, and you can find her contact info right here. And she's our gal. So all right.
Hey, Kevin, we do have a question. Christine Benedict asked, she said, just to clarify, the teams in the PNW will not know if they're going until April 7th at the earliest, right?
Yep.
That is correct. If you signed up to be a waitlist team, you may get an invite the week prior. But as far as qualifying via the district, and Kevin, I don't know if you want to go over, and I can if you want, how teams qualify and what the breakdown is of the number of teams we're sending versus the number of teams that qualify via the different awards. but that is why Experian and their team will be on site on the 7th, because we have a tight turnaround.
Mhm.
And they want to make sure that the teams have the best experience, since they know we have such a short time to make all of our arrangements.
Yep. So again, we're sending 32 teams. 3 of them will be Chairman's Award winning teams. 2 of them will be Engineering Inspiration Award winning teams, and 1 is going to be a Rookie All-Star. And then the next 26 highest ranked teams based on your district qualification points. So
and actually, one correction, sorry. This year is the first year we've had 2 teams that get an automatic into Houston. So Vikings, who was on Einstein, when you win on Einstein, you get an automatic invite the next year. And then Flaming Chickens, who won Engineering Inspiration, and when you win Engineering Inspiration, you also get an automatic invite. So we will be sending 24 teams based on district rankings, because those still come out of our allotment.
yes, they do. Thank you for correcting me on that.
Yeah, well, this is a new thing where, as we get better. Yeah, exactly. So,
those next 24 teams, and we know that the travel arrangements, especially when you find out on April 7th, can be a real chicken dance, and that's the exact thing that Ron and his team are trying to solve. And we thank them very much for really considering the fact that when you're a district, everybody finds out at the last minute, and we're trying to reduce everybody's stress level by realizing and ensuring that we all have rooms available to us. And they've done a really good job at collecting a ton of data about and they have a pretty good shot at knowing how many rooms actually need to be set aside. Those rooms are set aside, so we will have hotel space in Houston. And so the whole idea is to ratchet down a few levels the amount of stress that our teams have to go through in order to travel to Houston on such short notice. And I'm really hoping that this works well. And I'm actually quite confident that it will work well. There may be a few snags along the way, but rest assured that those will all get ironed out. Okay.
And I'm sorry, Kevin, this is Beth. I just wanted to jump in here real quick. I will actually be the person on site helping in-pit admin with hotel reservations and helping the team secure the block. But one of the things I meant to mention earlier was what you guys can do prior to actually qualifying for championships to make your life easier that last week, since you are week 6 qualifiers, is you can actually go in and register your students ahead of time and register parents ahead of time. And then at least the registration piece of championships is taken care of. That way, everybody has badges. And then once the rooms are secure, we can quickly put those people into rooms. So that might save you a couple of steps at the end if you know who your chaperones are going to be, or if you know who some of your team competitors are going to be. You can start registering them now, and you can log into the website and actually register your team. You just won't be able to secure housing yet.
Okay, so thank you for doing that, because Adrian and I have both taken teams to Worlds before, and just figuring out who is actually planning on going, who isn't planning on going, when you're dealing with a large group of students, can actually consume quite a chunk of time, and being able to pre-organize all of that is really important. Even if it's just the outside chance that you end up going to Houston, in any work that you can do pre that, and especially when we have to do registrations and develop lists, is a total win, and it will reduce your stress level. Yes.
Now, and Beth, can we just go over really quickly? So if I recall, basically what they will do is the teams will come and they will officially register for the event with me. And then once they have, said that, yes, they are attending, they will be given access to the housing site, and then they will kind of move down the line to you guys, where they will go online there at computers and register, but have you guys on site, and just in case they hit any snafus. So it'll kind of be an assembly line process, so to speak, where they start with me and then just move on down the line. Am I correct with that?
That is correct. We're going to have a couple of outward-facing terminals that First Washington is providing to us. This is also, of course, available on the web if you guys have tablets with you and want to just, be registered and then move on your way and do housing on your own. But I will be there to help with that, and that is exactly how we had it planned out, Adrian.
Okay, and teams will not be able to access those rooms until they have officially registered. And I just want to make sure, and we'll probably reiterate with the team. So if they find out that they've qualified and they're sitting in the stands, they can't just go online right then and there and access the housing. They need to actually register, which will in essence flip a switch and allow them access to that housing. Or does the fact that the district rankings and the awards show that they've qualified allow them to now access that site? Because we're a little different. Normally you find out and you have until Tuesday, 5 p.m. Tuesday in order to register. But we're such a tight turnaround. We register everybody at the event. We have hard copies of the FedEx paperwork to give to the teams for shipping. And so I just want to make sure we're clear.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's okay. Just so these guys understand what the process is.
Yeah. So once I get notified of a team qualifying by Adrian or whomever is notifying me, I flip a switch in my system. It takes 15 minutes for the servers to catch up, and then it's active. So as soon as First tells me that a team is qualified, I can go and flip that switch. We can do it however you want, though. If you want them to first register and confirm that they're going, so that they're not taking rooms from teams that potentially are coming behind them, I think that might be the best plan.
Okay, and maybe you and I can just chat so we make sure that we understand, and we'll blast it out to teams so that they understand the process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Hey, Ricky, I see your question. We're going to touch on that in just a sec here. So Heather is asking the question, we are confused. Have the 3 chairman, 2 engineering inspiration spots for this year already been filled? No, they have not, Heather. The 3 chairmans, 2 engineering inspiration, and 1 rookie all-star won't be decided until the end of our district championship in Portland, and that's when those happen. What we do have 2 teams that qualified because in Houston last year at the World Championship, they were the big winners of one was on the Winning Alliance. The other was a winner of the Engineering Inspiration Award. And so they have gotten an automatic bid into the following year. And so none of the rest of the awards have been awarded so far. Okay. And then Ricky's got a very similar question. When you say the top 32 teams, is the top 32 teams out of all 9 competitions? How does that work for teams who could only afford 2 competitions? You're going to 2 competitions, you are accumulating district points from those 2 competitions. The highest ranked 64 teams go to the district championship in Portland. There's no registration fee for that. We have covered that. First Washington covers that fee for you. And then you compete a 3rd time in Portland, and then the top, I guess now top 24 ranked teams are going to move on, as well as the 6 award winners, plus the 2 that qualified from championships last year. And everything slides up. So if the Chairman's Award winning team was also highly ranked, everybody moves up. So we will send all 32 teams. I hope that made sense.
And Kevin, we should probably clarify. It's actually, so 9 Chairman's Awards winners get to go.
3.
9 Chairman's Awards winner from district events, 1 from each event, go to compete at district championships.
Yes.
And so it's actually 55 teams. We have an Engineering Inspiration Award winner and a Rookie All-Star that also get to go with their robot to be judged for awards, but they have to qualify via the point system to actually be allowed into district championships.
Yep. And that allows us to fill up there are 64 teams that go to Portland.
Yep.
Yep. So hopefully that made sense to everyone.
And we'll be talking more about that. We have 2 more webinars coming up, one in February and one in March, where in February, we're going to talk at length about the district competitions and the format of that and how it works. And then in March, we will have another webinar where we talk and give more information about district championships and Houston for those teams to qualify for Houston. So you guys will be getting more information on those things as we get closer to the event.
And I'm just realizing, you know what we ought to do, Adrian? We should probably have a separate webinar for folks who have either for the rookie teams or the rookie coaches, because I'm realizing that there's a lot of material that we sort of assume that people know that we should probably cover differently. What do you think of that? Ricky, would you go to something like that if we had a webinar just to go over the new stuff? I'll let her answer offline yes, okay.
Yeah, we could absolutely do that. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah, so we'll do that. All right, so back to our travel. Oh, and I'm being asked, where is the FAQ on the website? Outstanding. It is on firstwa.org. Go to Team Resources, First Robotics, and then scroll down to First Robotics Competition, Team Resources. We're reorganizing our website. This is buried pretty deep. And then you come down to Workshops and Webinars. Hopefully you see that down there, and you can just click on this, and that will bring up this FAQ thing. And the top entry is the one that has the travel documents. Did that help you find that, Anna? All right. I'm gonna hope that did. All right. So from for our travel folks, I'm willing to hang out for a few more minutes and answer general questions, but I want to make sure that we've got Experian and the nice folks from First. You guys, we feeling good? Anything else you wanted to bring up?
Nope, feeling great.
Good. All right, and we thank you guys. We realize that it's like it's like 10:45 in New Hampshire. Thank you so much for staying up late with us. You're welcome to hang out on the line, but we're now going to shift over to allowing people to ask whatever questions they want to ask. Because I even have a question. Look at this. So I appreciate your guys' help, and I appreciate all of the effort that you've put into making this travel program better for everybody, and I think it's going to be a huge win for the whole First population. So awesome. Okay. Great. Now I'm entertaining any other questions. There are no questions too big or small for us. If you wanted to either type a question in, or you can do the hand raise. There's a little hand raise button, and I will end up allowing you to talk to us. Or we can call it a night and go finish our CAD. Ricky's got one. Hi, Ricky, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, what can I do for you?
Okay, so I talked to Aaron a little bit tonight. I'm struggling just a little bit. I took over for Lonnie Dixon for Okanagan, and I'm having a little backlash right now. I know I can hear some giggling. That's fine. The thing is that I've got my veteran members, and I'm pulling in new kids, and we're setting up new parameters for robotics to make it you know, school, since it's our school FFA program is what we're running our robotics through.
Sure.
And the thing is that I've set new parameters so they have to keep up their grades, and you know, they have to have good behavior and all this different stuff. But now I might be losing my veteran members. And I did Lego robotics when I was in school.
Yeah.
But I have no idea without my veteran members how to do a veteran team. So I was wondering if anybody had any advice.
Yeah. So you know, there's always a tough line to find about at what point do you tell students that they can't be on the team for various things, right? And that is something you'll need to work out for yourself. I tend not to actually instigate that rule. I will let the parents deal with that if they would like to. But you know, the reality is for a lot of the kids, especially the FFA kids, you know, academics may not actually be their thing, and so you know, there's a fine line between them being completely diverted from their schoolwork and or continuing not to do well with their schoolwork. Depends on the kid, right? If you've got a kid who's normally getting D's anyway, or you know, C's and D's, or C's and you know, or is not doing well, it's kind of we end up in a weird spot. Is do I tell the kid he can't be on the team unless he gets his grades up, or do I realize the kid's never going to get his grades up and maybe this is the best thing for him, right? And so I feel for you. I understand the issue, but I guess that's my personal take on it. And I know that other schools have and other coaches have different opinions on that. But I guess that's mine. Is I'm rather lenient on that sort of stuff. Unless they're totally blowing off school just to do first. If they were otherwise a good student and were doing well in school, but then really start slipping because they're doing first, I'll help them, you know, set some boundaries. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, it made sense. It's just and it's not like a big grade thing. It's just like we're trying to build more of a team. Mm-hmm. For them, it's more like this is me and this is mine from certain kids. And so when you introduce new students, they like get really upset. So I'm trying to find a happy balance.
So in those cases, I normally put those kids. I give them the responsibility of bringing the new kids up to speed and make them like. Tell them, hey, you're now the leader. You need to not only make this work, but you also need to make it work with this group of students and make it a problem for them to solve. And that's really hit and miss with high school kids, by the way. I don't claim that that's the panacea answer, but that's actually worked pretty well for me. I had Eric in 2004. I had Eric Cartman on my team from South Park. He was the same physical form factor, the same narcissist, and you would have been amazed at how similar he was to Eric Cartman. And I put him in charge of the FLL team, and he came back a couple months later and apologized to me for being who he was. You know, so you could turn it into a growth opportunity, or you know, you just gotta tell him, look, this is what it's like to work with a team and as a team. Because I know you probably have what, 12, 14 kids at the moment? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I got a 14. Well, and the problem is too, is I have a 14 kid team, but I can only take 6 to competition. And so I'm struggling with having to tell who gets to go and who doesn't. And not quite sure how to do that yet.
Yeah. Yes.
I
feel for you. I know that for those of you who don't know where Okanagan is, it's in the north center part of the state of Washington, and it would be considered extra rural. It's a lovely place, actually. And all right. Well, did that help at all?
Yeah, it helped. Yeah, I'll give them a talk tomorrow and see what they think too. So okay. I want it to be more their program than me telling them what to do. So I'm just trying to do it. So
Yeah, and I think it's entirely appropriate for you to point out that FIRST is based on teamwork, and that's a big part of the thing, and make it their problem to solve. How not only how are you going to build a robot, but how are you going to work together as a team. And again, hit or miss. You definitely have the opportunity to miss there. But I think you also have a double opportunity to hit. So that's what I would do.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions that I can answer?
I haven't seen anything new in a bit, Kevin. So.
Then I feel like we're
but wait,
done.
but we have another hand raised.
Oh, is that Ricky again? Here we go. Ricky, is that you asking again?
That was totally not me. I didn't do it. I have a ghost computer.
No
problem. Yeah, that's what they all say.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, hey, with that, thank you all. I will find a time. Hopefully we can give you at least a little bit of notice, and we will do a rookie and/or new coach or new person Q&A session. I might actually even try and do it next week and let's help you guys get through some of the more mysterious parts of doing FRC. So with that, I think we're done. So I look forward to, Adrian, our next webinar is going to be on February 24th, as I recall. Sound right?
I'm looking on my calendar right now. No, it's February 22nd. It's always the Thursday after Bag and Tag. We have information we want to get to you guys, but we don't want to take you away from, putting the finishing touches on your robot. So the next team briefing for all teams is scheduled for 7 o'clock on Thursday, February 22nd.
Outstanding. We look forward to seeing you all then. Until then, have a great build season and good luck with climbing. I don't know about your team, but we're kibitzing about trying to hang and present a alternate hang bar out the back, or just using a tethered cable and hoping that the other team has a tethered cable. I don't know. I personally, I find the thought of two robots hanging off of a single rigid body to be somewhat scary, but I could be wrong. What do I know? I'm just a guy. So anyway, with that, we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.